hi everybody. Welcome to our new series, Getting to Know You. And it's really great to have Ebie in the Zoom. Ebie in the Zoom tonight. And this idea just came from, during lockdown 3, just to get to know each other as a church, a little bit of fun, a few little serious questions thrown in, but really just to get to know Ebie. So Ebie, just to ask, how long have you been coming to the church?
I've been coming to church about 2.5 years, just over two, no, maybe three now, 3 years. I
Great.
started coming with my nan,
Yeah.
and I sort of came and then went somewhere else for 3 weeks and came and then I'd say about 2.5 years properly.
Awesome. Well, it's been a good 2.5 years, and you've been volunteering, kids club. You're in a new strategy group. You've really got really part of the church, and yeah, we're very glad to have you in the church. We love you being around, and you're very, very local, which is what we love.
Mm.
So, all right then. So let's jump right into this new format. So it's 10 questions, and it'll be the same questions for everybody who comes on this podcast. We'll call it a podcast. Why not? And so the first question is, Ebie, have you got any phobias?
Yeah, I cannot abide rats, mice, anything like that. It doesn't matter if they haven't got a tail, like people say hamsters haven't got a tail or guinea pigs haven't got a tail, but I'm not feeling anything, any rodents.
So does it come from anything? What is it? A rational fear? Is it, or where does it come from? I always think that's interesting about phobias.
I'm not sure. I think when I was a lot younger, I a cousin of mine that had gerbils, and he used to chase me around the house with the gerbils, put the gerbils in a tube and try and like he just used to torment us younger ones. So I'm not sure if it perhaps it stems from that, but I left London to come to Bristol because I had mice in my flat. I might have come
Oh
anyway, but the
wow.
fact that I had mice, I was just out of there like a shot. I can't bear it. And I know that you're never too far away from a rat or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine, but as long as I don't see them,
No.
I would love to get over this phobia, but pray for me, please, church.
Well, in a way, every phobia is like based in a natural fear, isn't it? So, when you think about rats and rodents, then there's a reason for it, isn't there? There's a reason for that fear,
Mm,
around food and health and survival. You don't want guinea pigs running around eating all your food. Guinea
yeah.
pig. I can't believe you're scared of guinea pigs as well.
I'm not scared,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want one in the house.
Well, what if we brought Bethany's guinea pigs round once and
I'd rather you didn't.
Right. All right, okay, all right. So that's your phobia. Any rodent type animal, with or without a tail. Thank you. All right then. Okay. So the next question is, if you were, well, what is your spirit animal? There's this idea that we're linked to some sort of animal that represents us. What animal represents you, would you say?
None.
None, really.
I'd say I'm not really an animal person.
No.
There's not one animal that I identify with more than others. There's lots I look at and think, oh, that's lovely, but I'm not. I'm not big on animals. I'm not.
But what type of personality would you say you have then? I'll give you a spirit animal. Tell
Okay.
me about yourself. What, are you independent? Are you fierce? Are you humble? Are you small? Are you big and brash? How would you describe yourself?
Okay. So if I had to have a spirit animal, I think it would probably be um something like a hippopotamus or a rhinoceros.
Dangerous. Yeah.
well, I think they sort of
Yeah.
they lurk under the water
Okay.
and they're quite quiet for a while, and then suddenly they surface and they're run and they're loud,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they go back quiet again.
Yeah, I like it.
They're fierce, but they're humble. They're loud, but they're humble.
At the right times, they attack.
Yeah, they know. Yeah, they know when to and when not to, kind of thing. Does that make
No,
sense?
it does. Yeah, I think like a hippopotamus, there's something really stable about them. There's something really like complete. They're just there, aren't they? And it's only when you disturb them that they sort of aroused, or they're like rah. There's something really solid about that. Like there's a confidence there in a hippopotamus. Is that the right word? A confidence? They just are them.
Yeah,
And if they need to defend themselves, then they become
yeah.
that other version of themselves, like the stronger, like aggressive version. Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, your spirit animal officially tonight from Bristol Nazarene Church is a hippopotamus.
Yeah. I will look like a hippopotamus soon if I don't get out and do some exercise and
Lockdown. We're all suffering.
yeah.
We're all suffering. We're all suffering. All right, then. So, say if you stood up now in your room and you went over to a record player or a CD player or Spotify or whatever, or Alexa, and you said, Alexa, play the last song. What song would be on your record player? What song for you is something that's on repeat? What's one of your like big choice songs?
Well, I go through phases of having songs on repeat.
Oh yeah.
And I was at a Zoom funeral today, and the last song
Yeah.
was Amazing Grace by Sanchez, and Sanchez is a reggae artist.
Okay.
So then I played it at home because I thought, oh, I remember that, and I just kept playing it. But prior to that,
I'm gonna put it on now.
you're going to put it on.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's have a dance.
This is cool. And this was at the wedding.
Funeral.
I've done that before. Sorry, funeral.
Can't hear it.
Nice. That's good. They're so talented people, aren't they? That's lovely. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that, Ebie. They're so talented, these people, aren't they?
yeah.
So much talent. Yeah, reggae. When I was at the Red Catch Park last couple of summers ago, reggae was the music that when I played a song at the park as part of the project, you could see everybody getting a coffee in the garden, just
Having a jig. Yeah.
yeah. And I tried to think, well, is there a British version? Is there a UK version of let's put a record on and get the
It's
and
universal.
in
Everybody.
reggae? There's something about it, whether it's because it's the beach music or the, the
Mm,
the rhythm. There's something about it that people just, whether old, young, or across the garden, you could just see people starting to move to the music and the rhythms. It was really cool. I couldn't really think
yeah,
of a British version. Maybe the Beatles or something. People would all sing along, maybe.
yeah.
But I couldn't. There's
Quite
not one. I think
cool
reggae is just some sort of amazing, magical beach music, isn't it? It's like
that everybody loves. Yeah.
yeah, an amazing vibe, isn't it? It's cool.
I
Yeah.
don't listen to a lot these days, but when I was a lot younger, I used to do what they call MC.
Okay.
So you would it's almost like rapping, but it's not, but to reggae music. And I'd go on stages and I've won awards for doing it.
What?
But yeah, I was a
Let's
lot.
get some MC reggae worship going at church.
Yeah. You
That'd
could,
be
that would
amazing.
be cool.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah. We're stuck with Matt Redman and Hillsong. We need a
Yeah.
bit of variety. We need a bit of variety. Awesome. So, what other song? That's the sort of faith song. It's the sort of a go-to.
Oh, so what I've been listening
Coffee.
to a lot this week, and I don't even know if I'm saying this right, but it is Lewis Capaldi.
Oh yes.
Oh gosh, what's the
Yeah.
name of it?
I've got. Is it his very famous one?
Yeah, something
I'll find it for you.
bleeding heart. I just love it.
Someone you loved.
Yeah, that's it.
So it goes. That one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody to need, somebody to love.
It's a good song.
I love it. So I've been
Yeah.
playing that a lot lately.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. He's good. He's come out of nowhere, really, Lewis Capaldi. He's sort of just I think Ed Sheeran's probably helped. You know, that singer-songwriter thing, and then he's got that talent as well. And then people,
Yeah.
very good. Lewis Capaldi and Amazing Grace reggae. Eclectic mix. Eclectic. All right, then we're going to get into a Jesus question now. So you're not allowed to say Jesus to this answer because that's like the obvious answer. To what is your favorite biblical character? I mean, Jesus is just
Mary.
everybody's favorite. Who?
Mary, Jesus's mum.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. That's a good choice. Why is that?
Well, just imagine, like as a mum myself, I just often think about how she must have felt. That was he was a child. He's a child, her son. Um, just thinking about the way he came into the world, and the responsibility. She must have been so scared.
Mm,
You just can't imagine it, can you?
no,
He wasn't conceived in the normal way,
yeah,
and just the just all the emotions. I just think about all the emotions that she must have gone through bringing him up, knowing what his purpose was here on earth,
mm,
from the day he was born, knowing what perhaps what was ahead, what lie ahead for him,
yeah,
and just how proud she must have been of him as well. And
yeah. I'm worried and scared and
absolutely, and I just think there's no one like her. She's the mum that perhaps,
yeah.
when I think about good mums.
I know, I know. Because the thing is, for me, what I always think about that is, I mean, she's at the cross,
Yeah,
like that. I mean,
yeah,
to be a mum or a dad, of course, at the death of your son.
yeah.
At that
Imagine.
point, even though she knows intellectually, she knows that the angels have said he's more than. But at that point, the finality of that and the pain of it, a mum,
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
any parent to see a child in that state on a cross would just rip your heart in two, wouldn't it?
And that's why I just, in answer to that question, I just think it's her because, well, that's who I relate to the most,
Yeah, yeah,
that burden of, or the weight, the all of it, all of his life, everything that she must have gone through, things that we can't even think about, we don't even know really because it's not recorded anywhere. But
yeah.
what must, even from the start, being refused entrance into different places, not being able to give birth comfortably.
Yeah, at a time where, mortality rates in women in birth must have been sky high.
Yeah, yeah,
And there she is in a cave underneath a house or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, wow. Yeah. I know that's like at Christmas at the end of the Carol concert, we always play that amazing Mary, Did You Know?
yeah,
No, you just think, oh, did you know? Did you see it unfolding?
yeah,
you know
yeah,
but I suppose the wonderful thing is that she did, and she was at the cross and she was there afterwards, and she was, so God chose the right woman, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
That
Absolutely.
faithful,
He doesn't give us more than we can bear, does he? Or
which says
yeah,
something about her, because she would have been about 14 when she had Jesus.
yeah,
So
yeah,
for God to understand her heart and mind at that point, what an amazing faithful woman,
yeah,
to have that character that God could trust to go beyond the cross.
yeah, absolutely,
It's just,
absolutely.
yeah. No, I know. It does give you an incredibly different perspective on life having children, doesn't it?
Mm,
It does. Yeah.
sure
Well,
does.
yeah, we like that. Okay, then. So, keeping into the churchy stuff, have you got a favorite worship song? Something that really
Oh, I absolutely love Waymaker.
Oh, okay,
That's
Waymaker. Let's
my
get that.
favorite. Sing it all day long in different styles, different versions.
Yeah,
I listen to choirs singing it, reggae artists singing it, people just Hillsong versions. Is it Matt Redman's
yeah,
version? I love it. It's my favorite song.
yeah. This one. Shoot, it is good. This one, yeah, Waymaker.
Yeah,
Oh. I think it's just one of those ones that really gets your heart, and it just makes you stand still and want to just. There's something really big and beautiful about it, but the words are really, yeah,
yeah, something reverent. It's reverent over
inspiring.
the words. Yeah, love it.
But the tone of the song and the tone of the musicianship really connects you with the spirit, doesn't it? Really connects you.
You can't not sing it without meaning either, can you?
No.
You can't just Waymaker. You can't just sing it
Yeah.
just
No.
like that. You know, it's like there's always, I don't
It's
know,
big.
whenever I sing it, I mean every word of it. I sing it with meaning and
Yeah. 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 No,
yeah.
the cream tends to come to the top. It's a little bit like 10,000 Reasons when Matt Redman sings it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's got that
Is that bless the Lord, oh my
otherworldly.
soul?
No, yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got that. It lifts you beyond musically and spiritually. It lifts you
Yeah.
out of something. I think Waymaker's definitely the same.
Mm.
Definitely the same. Yeah. And what is it about the lyrics that grab you?
I don't know. I don't even know if I know all the lyrics all the way through, but certainly the chorus.
Yeah.
Um,
Promise Keeper,
yeah, miracle worker,
Worker.
promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. It's just, I don't know. It just sort of sums up everything for me, how I feel.
Yeah.
So it just sums up everything. Yeah, everything I feel about God, everything I feel about my faith, everything I feel about the Lord. It just wraps it all up into one nice little tidy bundle. That is it, this is what I've got kind of
Mm.
thing.
That's
Just
awesome. Yeah, no, it is a great song. Great song. And I'll put it at the end, the link, so people, if they've not heard it, can go and find it somewhere because
yeah.
it's well worth, I think. Okie dokie, thank you. So moving away from the sort of Christian thing for a little bit, I've got a couple more. Um, in your opinion, what is the greatest movie ever made? In your opinion, your favorite movie ever made?
I was talking to a friend earlier and he couldn't believe it that I've never watched The Matrix.
Oh, I was watching that before, funnily enough.
But there's a lot of films that I've not watched, like I've never seen The Godfather and
Yeah, yeah,
I and there's lots of films that I enjoy, but there's very few films that I've watched more than once. So I think the greatest film ever made would probably be the films that I've watched more than once.
yeah,
And that would be Gone with the Wind
yeah, yeah.
and a film called Imitation of Life.
Imitation of Life. No, go on. I can't remember it. Go on.
Um,
That's
Imi-
interesting.
Imitation of Life um, is about a black woman who
Yeah.
has a daughter who's mixed race, and the daughter is really light skinned, so she would pass for white. And as she grows up and moves into adulthood, she
Yeah.
tries to pass herself off as being white and not black.
Okay.
And it's just about their journey, really. It's an old film,
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at it now. It's a black and white film.
not black and white.
Oh no.
It's not black and white, but it
Has it
is a
been
really,
coloured?
really old film. And then I
Is
won't
that it
say
there?
what happens in case
Is that it?
that's it, but it's not black and white.
I
Yeah.
think it's probably been colorized.
Right.
Wow. Do you know what? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna watch that.
It's really good. I won't say too much because somebody might want
No spoilers.
no spoilers. I don't want to spoil it, but it's one of the first films I watched that addressed racism and color, and I just fell
Yeah.
in love with it, and it was my best friend's mum who suggested I watch it,
So what?
and it's just
How
a
old
really
were
good
you
film.
when you watched that, Abby?
Oh, I was about 10, 11, and I've watched it probably about 10 times.
How?
It's a really good film. It's lovely. It's a lovely, lovely film.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that. Very good.
Yeah.
Got 5 out of 5 from Empire, 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 8 out of 10. So
Yeah, let me know what you
there's a
think.
lot of love out there for that. I've never even heard of it. I love movies. I could do this on movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in that. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'll watch that definitely 100% this weekend. So yeah, and that's interesting. So that was the first time you ever saw sort of on film or even on any media, sort of like a political drama around race and around racism and inequality.
Yeah. And I didn't really understand it when I first watched it, but every time I watch it, it sort of provides another layer of understanding, or there's something else to think about.
Yeah.
Um, so
Oh,
yeah,
imitation of life. Yeah.
and it was the film itself. I think it was quite advanced for the time that it was made, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there aren't that many films around that period that address the issue of racism, colorism,
Yeah.
because
It's actually a 1959 film.
yeah, so there you go. Quite a long
That's
time
so
ago.
interesting, isn't it? But one of my things around the sort of civil rights movement, I mean, we had the Second World War, obviously, 1945 ending. And these young GIs, had left America where it was, segregation, apartheid, and then came to a world that was still probably racist in some ways, yet they were welcomed and they saw a whole different world in a way coming to Europe. They were
Yeah,
a lot more integrated, even though there was still a lot of trouble. But they felt probably, wow, what is this? And then they had to go home, back to the apartheid. You're like, what?
I don't know if they you say they were welcome. I don't know if they would
No,
say
I
they
know there
felt
was problematic still, but there was.
yeah,
You went to France and stuff. There was still a lot. There was still diversity there in a different way because of the African links and the Spanish links to Africa.
yeah.
So I think
When my
people were treated differently than America.
when my nan was a wren, so some of you, if you're watching this, will know what a wren is.
Yeah.
Women's Royal, I can't even remember what it stands for, but she was a wren. So, and every day the head wren, whatever she might have been,
The head red.
head wren, every week, sorry, there'd be sort of like a talk or a debate or something. And one particular week it was colored GIs.
Oh,
He said, colored GIs are entering our countries and our borders. If anyone's seen talking to them, will be severely reprimanded.
wow.
They bring diseases into our country. They
What?
talk funny. No, they don't speak English, and some of them have tails. And
What?
the only person allowed to speak to them
Was your
is Theodora, because she is like them. Anyone else would get in trouble.
gosh?
So my uncle was an American GI, and he often used to tell a story that he'd go to dances and women would be grabbing his bum trying to feel for a
Find the
tap.
tail. What?
So
God, that is
I
bonkers.
don't know if I think on an individual personal basis, they might have been welcome because there's a lot of curiosity around.
No, no, no. I think you're right. That's what I said. It was
Yeah,
obviously very problematic still.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
even just, I suppose, being part of a squad and, you know, sadly, it's the same color blood that comes out, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and then obviously, like the civil rights movement, then into the 60s, imitation of life, 1959, dealing with those huge issues.
yeah,
We're still dealing with them today, sadly.
yeah.
You know,
And
that's
I, just to go back to the question, I don't think that that is the greatest film ever made, because in terms of like direction and production,
Sure.
it's not
Yeah,
brilliant. But it's one
yeah,
of
yeah,
my
yeah. No, no, no. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, it was a subjective question.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
objectively, you'd say
Yeah,
2001: A Space
yeah,
Odyssey. You'd say
yeah.
The
Avatar,
Godfather, Third
Avatar.
Man. You know, you that's an yeah. Objectively, you'd say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
But subjectively, it's more that.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
so interesting. Thank you. That was really good. I really like that. So, what do you really love about not necessarily the Nazarene church, but just church? What do you love about church? Going to church, being a church person.
I love that I love that I go. I love that it's one thing. Like, I've joined loads of gyms in the past, loads of different classes. I've tried all sorts of things, and quite often it's phasey behavior. Like, I'll, go to the gym for 6 months, pack it in. I always go to church. I love that there's something in me that gets me up, gets me out the door, gets me into a building. Well, maybe not at the moment. So first of all, I love that. I feel that that's just the Christian in me, or Christ in me, or Holy Spirit in me, or whatever. Something gets me up and gets me into church every Sunday.
Yeah.
Some of my friends who aren't Christians are puzzled that I do that every Sunday, but yet they can't get me into the gym on a Friday night,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't like missing church.
No.
I don't like missing it because it sets me up for I feel like it sets my week up.
Yeah.
I like meeting church family. I like being around people. I like the praise and worship.
Yeah.
It helps me connect.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we might connect in our homes on a day to day and we
It's
pray,
totally different, isn't it?
but being with your church family, with any church, whatever church you're in, being with your church family, it's different. I think in the Bible it says, where three or more, or two or more are gathered together, so shall I be in the midst. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that just sits like with me, and I just never forget that. So church is always, ever since I've become a Christian, the one thing in my life that has been a constant is just being in church,
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah, yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. Oh, 100%. Somebody said to me the other day, say if you wasn't a pastor, would you go to church? Because there's a lot of Christians now who don't go
Yeah,
regularly because of
yeah,
modern life, really, I think. And there's lots of reasons. Oh yeah, 100%.
and
If I wasn't the person I was, for my family, for me, for Heather, church would be very up and center, absolutely at the core of who we are as a family. The amount of good, positive things that community brings into my life.
yeah,
And that's not just, and I mean, connection with God, connection through worship, absolutely. But just, say Bethany now, she's got, well, Theodora, 96. She's got Sandra, 80. And then she goes right down to Shiloh and Amaya and the spectrum of
yeah,
diversity
yeah,
and the
yeah,
spectrum of ages. I mean, it sets them up.
yeah,
I mean, the reason Gabriel and Daisy are so social and so open to people
it's
is
because,
church.
yeah, yeah,
It just broadens your horizons, and at the heart of it is God, which is
mm,
a quadruple bonus, isn't it?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and
have you
my
felt the absence? Oh, sorry, Abby, go on.
no, I was just going to say, and in the same way, yeah, my children have been brought up with that as well.
Yeah.
We have been to quite a few churches because we left one city and came to another. But yeah, it's just, and I miss not being there every Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's not
I
the
know.
same.
That's what I was going to say. Have you felt that absence? Have you felt the gap?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, all props to you, Matt, for keeping the online going, but it's not the same as being sat there and looking over and waving to somebody and talking to somebody else and having a cup of tea after and
It
doing,
really is.
doing
And
the
also
worship.
the reverse of that is it's taken me some time to get used to the lack of people as I'm doing church online
Yeah,
because the dynamic is so different. I mean, like the joke I say to people is it's like a really bad episode of Doctor Who because you look out and everybody's in masks who can come. They're not allowed to sing. You're not really allowed to socialize. I mean, it is pandemic Doctor Who. It's just like
Yeah,
wow. It's actually one of those places where it feels very pandemic. And even though I enjoy doing the online and we've really enjoyed doing it, and that'll always be with us now. But it's one of those points in my week where it's like, this is strange.
it always highlight it. Just if
Yeah.
ever you have moments where you can forget every Sunday, you can't because
No, no. It's like because I walk through the park from my house and it's like normal life. There's people on the swings, there's people walking around getting a coffee from Redcatch. And then I walk into church and it's like pandemic Doctor Who. It's like, oh my God, this is freaky. I've had to get used to it. I struggled sort of September. August, September was just, I still, it was hard work. It was just because of the contrast.
yeah,
All that stuff you're saying is the same in reverse, isn't it?
yeah.
It's been a tough year for church. It has, really. It has. And in a way, I hope the gaps that the pandemic have created maybe then will mean that people will take more ownership of their church going and feel what they've missed.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe sometimes it's good to take something away to remind people how precious it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
And I think that can be said of a lot of things, can't it? Throughout of this, like reconnecting with family has made us realize how precious they are. I've never spent this much time with my family. I'm
Yeah,
sure we're all in the same position,
yeah,
and just the way in which we have abused the world, perhaps, we've taken it for granted, and perhaps having like forcing us to be still and silent and not go out and not do this and not do that makes you realize what it will make us realize how we should do things differently once we're at the other end of this.
yeah. I hope so.
Mm.
I hope so. Awesome. Thank you. So, last couple of questions. What would your final meal be if you'd committed a heinous crime and you were offered one last meal and it was your last meal you could ever eat and enjoy as well? What meal would that be?
I'm obsessed with, so a starter would be main three course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Starter would be crab mayonnaise
Ooh.
that I eat in Coates restaurant. There's one in Bristol, but I tend to
Okay.
frequent the one in Cheltenham because I go there to meet friends.
Ah.
Crab mayonnaise, like tart thing. It's just awesome. Chicken, rice, and peas would be my main course every
Nice.
time.
Good choice.
And I'm not really a dessert person, but probably apple crumble and custard.
Nice. Traditional. This is what we like. That sounds amazing. I love it. I love that. Crab mayonnaise sounds really nice. And it's in
Oh,
what? It's in a tart crust.
no, it's not a tart. It's not a tart. I can't explain it. It's crab mayonnaise and avocado, but I can't explain it. And I keep meaning to try and make it myself because there's no cooking involved. It's really simple. You probably just have to put it in the fridge to let it go cold for a bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know where to get crab from.
No,
Perhaps someone
not
could tell me. Somebody
not good
text me.
crab. Yeah, yeah. Comments
Where
down
can I
below.
get crab from?
Comments down below. Where can you get crabs from in Bristol? Sounds great. It sounds really good meal. That's great. Okay, last question. If you won the lottery, now you don't have to be righteous about this. Honestly, this is one of those questions when, if you won the lottery, and you could be completely selfish with the money, or you inherited loads of money, just let's put that other option in for those people who might not do the lottery. If you inherited a lot of money from somebody somewhere, that long lost relative, what would you do with it? Have you ever thought, what would you do
Spend
with?
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What would you spend it on? What would you spend it on?
Well, I've thought about it. I think about this daily, funnily enough. Um, I'd give my brother half of no matter how much it was.
Very generous.
Um, and then after that, I think I'd do what most people would do. I'd invest some, I'd spend some, and I'd give some to charity. Um,
Is there one thing like luxury item that you would buy for yourself?
well, well, I'd like a house. I mean, I live in a house. I've got a house, but I'd like a really nice
Yeah,
house,
yeah, yeah.
and I'd probably buy myself a couple, a main residence in Bristol, ideally in Knoll,
Nice.
um, and then another holiday home somewhere like, I don't know, I don't even know where, but somewhere on the
Yeah,
beach, like
yeah.
a really sort of a lovely beach house somewhere or something.
Abroad, abroad.
Abroad, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Overlooking the sea on the coast, winding path down.
You got it.
Yeah.
And I'd buy the house next door, either side, so that my friends and family could come and stay and visit.
That is great. That is great. Well, that's the last of the 10 questions. The last question is sort of like extra one. Obviously, 2020 COVID, 2021. To have a little positive thing about it, what would you take, or what would you want the world to look like? What would you like us to hold on to, even within the lockdown? What do you see as a positive thing for the future that the lockdown might have unlocked in the world? Not the doom and the gloom and the horror and all the sadness, but is there something where you think, well, that would be amazing if that could carry on?
I think that we can live life quite simply and be happy. We don't need amazing, fantastic holidays abroad. We don't need to be out in restaurants and pubs all the time, clubs and whatever else everybody else does. We can just be at home and we can just be with our family. And I've done a lot of helping people. Like most of my neighbors along here
Yeah.
are older than me. So, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I've helped out. I've helped do things. I'm probably the luckiest.
Neighborliness type thing.
Yeah, and just I'd like to think that we would continue to be as helpful as to people as we can, as kind to people as we can. I'd
Yeah.
like to think that we think more about the environment. We all noticed in the first lockdown where there was absolutely nobody on the streets, and there all this wildlife coming out. People were reporting deer being seen at
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Arnoldesville Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was worried sick because I was thinking, oh my gosh, the rats have got nothing to eat on the streets. They're going to come in my
They're
house.
coming, they're coming. The guinea pigs are coming. The guinea pigs are coming.
So yeah, just
Yeah.
simplicity, I think. Strip it back. We should just treasure this time and
Yeah.
pull some positive things from it, because we don't I don't know, like some people in life, I'm not one of them, I have to say, but some people are always looking for the next thing and the next thing, and they want to buzz and they want to do this and they want to jump from airplanes, and there's nothing wrong with that, like,
No.
but that doesn't necessarily make you happy, or they need loads of
It's
money.
the balance, isn't it? It's the life balance.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
you say,
So
really. And I think you're right. I think that I think the gaps, the simplicity, the moments of boredom are
yeah, I mean, I don't
and that's okay. It's
I
okay
don't
to be bored because when you're bored, your imagination runs and you're creative. All that creativity we saw in 2020 on YouTube, all that creativity that we saw outpouring.
but I don't think that, like, I never get bored. I never
No, that's
get
good.
bored. There's always something to do, and I think
Always.
for all of us there's always something to do.
Yeah.
Even if it's just go in the front garden and sweep leaves, there's always something to do, and I think that's what I'd like us to take away from it. We don't need to be out there full on spending loads of money, taking risks just to be happy, just to sort of fulfill what we think is, I'm bored. Are we really bored? Have you read everything there is to read, or
Yeah.
cooked everything there is to cook, or decorated every room? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
always something, always something.
No, I
And
totally hear that. Thank
if
you.
you haven't got anything, you can find something to do for somebody else.
No, and it's just taking that pause, isn't it? And it's just having that space to find that contentment and well-being in the simple things of life and that life balance. I think you're right. On Twitter, very early on, some person wrote, I didn't understand how abnormally busy I was. And I think the word abnormally there really stuck with me in the sense of it's okay to be busy. It's good to be busy in some way,
Yeah,
but abnormally busy. And I think the world and life had got abnormally busy, even for people, ordinary folk.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody got abnormally busy
Mm,
in the 10 years before COVID.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
live a life of simplicity. That's what we want for the world. Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, Ebby, thank you for being my first guest on Getting to Know You.
It's been fun.
Yeah, good. That's what I wanted. I wanted to bring a bit of fun, a bit of joy, and just something a bit different. And just while we are so remote from each other, just to learn about each other. So I really appreciate you being here. I'm just going to press record, unrecord. So don't go away. I didn't tell you that before. I should have done. I'm learning. I'm learning. But so I'll stop the recording in a minute. But big thank you, Ebby. God bless you.
God
And
bless
if you're
you.
watching this from the church, pray for Ebby, pray for her family, and just pray for good health, well-being, and that she'll go deeper in her relationship with the God she also obviously loves. So, amen. Thank you.
Man.
Bye.
Bye.